one. At Dennis's request, we're doing Mantra Shastra now.
So everyone hate me if you don't like me.
And we are going to be studying mantras. You'll get some new mantras that you'll learn. You can use in your compendium of mantras to give to people. You'll also learn some techniques on how to extract mantras. It's a necessary part of the tradition. Following this class, we're going to go to Swamsha again. More Swamsha. Okay, mantra. Mantra consists of the words mana for man, which means mind, and trayi for tra.
Protection of the mind.
Protection of the mind, yes. Herein, the mind referred to are the 5 manas, panchamana. There are 5 aspects of the mind, or mana, which are indicated by the word mana. So, mantra protects all 5 aspects of the mana. You should study the 5 parts of the mind and know what your mantras are protecting, and also what are the flaws in those parts. Mantra is meant to clear all our debts. All our debts. Shiva punishes us when we do not clear our debts. He punishes us. Where does he punish us from?
11th house.
And 6th house.
6th house as well.
Which are the marakas of the mantra.
5th and
2nd and 7th from the 5th house. Okay. When we clear our debts, the mantras are working. So you must do mantras to clear your debts. When you clear your debts, mantras work like anything. They really work. It may be required from you to do some seva before the mantra fully gives effects. So when you do the mantra may tell you and put you in a place where you have to do some work of seva or some karma, after which the mantra starts working when you've done it. The word trai in the word tra, this is SMS or short for trayi. From this word trai comes the word rai, which means food. And this food which is there is sustaining food. So what is implied in the word mantra is also that which is causing sustenance, which is protecting and causing sustenance. So mantra is like food for the brain. Which food particularly? Akash food. Because it relates to trai or rai, sustenance, food. What it is sustaining is the 4th house. So mantras are seen in 5th house, but it is sustaining and protecting the 4th house.
So it protects your heart also.
It protects the heart, yes. The mind, however, is seen in the 4th house, not in the 5th. So mana trai, mantra, is 5th house. Similarly, we have tantra. Tantra, tanu trai. So if tanu is seen from 1st house, where is tantra seen?
2nd.
So 2nd house is showing tantra in the chart. So the first tantra is food. So people, when you hear them say, oh, he's a tantric, you should say, he knows how to eat food. Okay?
Depends which food.
Because what?
I was saying depends which food. It doesn't have to be...
Yes. You must be good at eating. A good tantric must be very hungry all the time. You check, you're a good tantric, put food in front of it. He'll devour it in a few seconds. Okay? You need proper tantric. If he doesn't, then what tantric is it? And that is why, 2nd house. Which devata is associated with 2nd house? Vishnu, Hari, yes?
And Devi.
Mostly Hari in this context. Hari, Hara, Brahma Yoga, Hari is 2nd house, remember? That's why the highest tantra is that of Jagannath. There is something called Jagannatha Tantra. Okay. Okay. Yantra, you also have to understand the meaning of. Yantra comes from the word yantra, which means to restrain or cause bondage. The soul is trapped in this body, in this chart, through a yantra. And this yantra can protect the soul in this chart. So yantras can be protecting the soul. Where's the soul seen from?
Atmakaraka.
Atmakaraka. Atmakaraka, when we did Charakarakas, Atmakaraka can be first house or which houses will Atmakaraka lord over?
Oh, first and
signify?
eighth.
First and eighth.
Hmm.
Now first we already did the body. So eighth house will be the Atmakaraka house. Soul is seen from eighth house.
That again.
So what protects the soul? Ninth house. So yantra can be seen from ninth house. We have a debt in any division of life. To repay this, we have mantra. The most powerful tool for Tantra is Vayu. Tantra. The most powerful protection is Vayu. So Vayu is supposed to signify gemstones. But more appropriately, it also has to do with prana.
Restraining the prana in the body.
So if you know pranayama, it is one of the best tantras. So in some spiritual traditions, they like to teach mantra with tantra, in which they do breathing exercises with mantra. Ha, Dennis?
Yes.
Yes. Prana is very important. It keeps you alive. Some people, yogis, can get prana from other places than from food. But most of us do it from food. Some people believe they can get it from the sun. Some people do it through their third eye. So that was a small talk about Tantra and Yantra and Mantra. Let's get deeper into Mantra Shastra. Mantras hidden in Stotra. Many Prasiddha mantra are hidden in the stotra or poetry available in classic literature. So when you read a stotra, when you're reading it, actually what is happening is not only you're singing for the god Devata, but there's a mantra hidden in the same stotra. Prasiddha mantras are very useful because you have automatically got initiation from the mantra. Nobody needs to give it to you. By being born, it's part of you. The mantra is part of you. But because of your karma, that mantra is broken for you. So you have to repair it. Once you repair it, your karma becomes okay. It becomes in place, it's repaired, falls in place. So by repeating mantra, your karma is being repaired. Remember, mantra is healing you from your problem. It is your problem. It's not somebody else's problem. It's yours. You are not suffering because of somebody else. You are suffering because of your karma. Only your karma. Never blame another human being. You start blaming, you have failed. When you start blaming another human being, your 8th house becomes negative.
So your soul becomes negative.
Your soul starts shaking. And Shiva becomes very angry with you. Very angry. He says, you are not strong even to face your own karma.
Other word for hidden?
Hidden, concealed. Something which you cannot see. Hidden. Okay. So mantra is for our karma. It is because of ourselves and our karma that we are facing certain events in life. Nobody else is to blame. You cannot start saying, oh, I am having this experience because of that person's karma. No. You cannot say this person has this chart and because of that chart I have a problem. No. Your problem is because of your chart. That person is only activating your own chart. Only that. That is all. If you don't have it in your chart, it doesn't happen. Finished. End of story.
No need to read it.
That's right.
No need to be angry with anybody but yourself. No need to be sorry because of anybody, because of yourself, but other than yourself. You are the only one. Therefore, some types of practice, spiritual practices, can become very lonely. Why? Because you will start seeing the world as your own karma. It's your own chart. All those people are doing only what your grahas are doing in your chart. So, your mantras, every time you see something in that world, you have to tell yourself, what have I done to deserve this? I must check my chart and see what I've done to deserve this, and then do the remedy for that. Okay? Don't blame others.
But you know, we always want to hang it on somebody else.
Yes?
So telling a client that you know everything's happening in your life is your problem and you gotta get rid of it because you made it can be very difficult.
Oh yes. You have to find ways to do that. I have very nice, sweet ways of saying that.
Such
I'm
as
so nice to my clients. You know, after hearing the sob story, which is usually there, the problems, you say, yes, you're right. Such a difficult situation. Such problems are there in life. Yes. In truth, we must remember all these problems that we face are due to our own karma. They're all due to our own karma. Something has happened in past life, and for that reason we're suffering in this life. We have to be strong and move on. We should not keep looking back at the same problems. We should do remedies so that we will be trained not to make the same mistakes that we did in past life. Okay? Motivating? Is it? Nice incentive? How to get Diksha? Because Prasiddha mantras you don't need Diksha on. But what if you have a mantra and you want to be sure that you've got full Diksha of it? Like, let's say a simple mantra. Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. How to be sure you get the proper initiation so the devata is sitting inside you. Because sometimes you'll think, okay, I've done this mantra. Not sure it's really working to my benefit. I have to be sure it sits in me. I want it to be in my heart. It's not just here in my head and here in my tongue. Be in my heart, right? The mantra devata always sits in the heart. So here's a process. On a full moon, get a bowl of ghee. Must be ghee. Look into the bowl of ghee and see the reflection of the full moon in the ghee, in the bowl. Then recite the mantra that you want Diksha of. Do this for 12 full moons. You have Diksha. Some people, what they will do is, in the daytime, in the morning, they'll look into a bowl of water and have this reflection of the sun in it. They'll do the same. Full moon is only, yes. Yes, that's a problem. So that night you could not get Diksha, so you wait for another 30 days. See? But for the full moon is representing Vishnu and Devi. Whereas the new moon or the sun's rays, this blessing of the sun, is Shiva and Surya.
So you need to do that for 360 days?
You can. Actually, you have to do it for 12 times, 12 days. Dwarasha, yes. 12. Some people, what they do is, because Shiva is the Guru, he's the Guru of all mantras, they will go to a Shiva temple and recite the mantra there and then get Diksha by that. How do they do that? They take their mala with them to the Shiva temple, they take the blessings of Shiva, they sit down in the temple in a quiet place and they do japa of the mantra. They use auto-initiation also.
How many times should you recite?
Yeah.
As many times as you must.
There's no
Guru,
minimum.
the
One
person who
more.
gave you the mantra will tell you do this mantra so many times. You do that many times. Minimum a number of syllables. Number of malas as there are aksharas, syllables, not words, but aksharas in the mantra. Like Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya is a 12-syllable mantra. So you do 12 malas, minimum.
And you do the same principle on the jaimini mantra as you've been given?
I've already started the process with you. Did I not give you some bejas to add in the beginning and end of the mantra? Hamsa Soham. I've given the others. I also told you the other day.
Yes, I must have forgotten.
You do this. This is the first step. There are 16 steps.
16 or 16?
1/6.
It's
Still a high number.
Please attend. 1 year.
Hamsa, then the mantra, Soham. For example, Hamsa Hare Rama Krishna Soham. That mantra, Hare Rama Krishna, I've done all 16. Focused on it, I did it. It's a whole long process. Yes, Diego, what do you say?
Hamsaum Ganapadaye Namah Soham.
Yes. Correct. Now, these mantras that we're going to be looking for, sometimes you will not get your guru to tell you them. So you must find them in a stotra. Now, one process I should tell you, is to identify the lines of the stotra where the mantra is hidden by removing those lines which just give the results of the mantra. Like there's a part of the mantra of the stotra which is Falastuti, where it normally reads, oh, by reading this stotra, you will get this, you will get that, this will happen, that will happen. You should do it for these people and these charts during these days and so on and so forth. Okay? Usually the last lines are Falastuti, and they will break the sequence or the rhythm of the previous lines of the stotra. Then you can take the starting aksharas of each line and put them together to get the mantra. I'll show an example soon. Extreme caution is required in calculating the number of aksharas or syllables, which is often spelled out in the name of the stotra or mantra. Sometimes the stotra name gives the name of the mantra, devata, and the number of syllables is hidden in the count of lines instead. For example, or in fact, here we have some examples. We shall work on 4 examples. Shivapanchakshari. Panchakshari means 5.
Mm-hmm.
So the mantra is 5 syllables, right?
Mm-hmm.
The stotra is called Shivapanchakshari stotra. Shadakshari stotra, which means 6. So 6-syllable mantra will be hidden in the Shadakshari stotra. Madhusudana mantra. There's no indication of the number of syllables here. It's just the devata. Madhusudana and Ramakrishna mantra. We'll also do. So let's do it. So here is the Shivapanchakshari Mantra stotra. The stotra is given like this. In fact, there are 2 more lines continuing in the next page. And it starts Nagendra Haraya Trilochanaya Pasmangaragaya Maheshwaraya Nityaya Shuddhaya Digambaraya Tasmai Nakaraya Namah Shivaya. Okay? You'll notice that there is actually the mantra given, Namah Shivaya, in the end. It even says Nakaraya. Na is the first syllable of the mantra. Karaya means to do. Do that. Okay? Na is given as the first akshara or syllable in the stotra, lest we should have any doubt. If this works, then the next line in this stotra should begin with nama. That means ma. Namah Shivaya. So first was na, second is ma. Let's see. It says ma. Correct. It works. It even says in the end here, Makaraya. Namah Shivaya. So, Nama. So next must come Shi. Right? Shi. even to be perfectly in tune with the rest. Shikaraya Namah Shivaya. Let's continue. We have Namashi. Va. Vashishta. Va. It works so far. And the next, and when we have in the end here, Vakaraya Namah Shivaya. Last, Ya. Yakaraya Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya.
Shall we repeat it?
Why not? Namah Shivaya.
Namah Shivaya.
Okay.
Oh, we do it properly.
Confused.
What? Namah
Namah
Shivaya.
Shivaya.
Ah. Then we see in the end of all these 5 lines that some results are given. Panchakshara punyam ya patet Shiva sanidau Shiva lokam Shivena sahamodate. You see there's a break in the actual wording. You see it's not the same rhythm.
So this
And
would you would take away.
This you take away. This is Falastuti. Now the Falastuti will tell you some things. You will get the fruits of this mantra. The fruits of doing this Panchakshi Mantra are the grace of Shiva. But that Shiva, this is Shiva actually, Samidhau. You will go to Shiva Loka. Shiva Loka Mavapnoti. Shivena Sahamodate. Shiva will be compassionate on you. Don't get stuck in this. Don't get stuck in this part. In the tradition, we are taught the Falastuti is to distract you.
Yeah.
Okay? It's meant to distract you and make you confused. You know? The rest is the actual mantra you should be sticking to. The derived mantra here we have, Namah Shivaya, which is the Panchakshi Mantra. That was easy, right? It was very easy. Okay. And it was very well spelled out for us. We had the first syllable of each line. At the end it said Vakaraya, which literally means do Va. Okay? And it says Namah Shivaya at the end. So we are perfectly knowledgeable about how to do this. A mantra hidden in this manner in a stotra results in the automatic repetition of the mantra with mantra bodhana, understanding. Those lines describe the mantra every time the stotra is recited. Such a mantra in exactly the order obtained from the stotra is a prasiddha mantra and does not require any initiation. The very recitation of the stotra results in automatic receipt of the mantra from the holy author who is the rishi of the mantra. You can just recite the stotra, you got the mantra. So you can go through those 5 lines, recite it once, mantra is yours. You got it. It woke up, the rishi said, now you finally are doing the mantra. Good. The mantra Namah Shivaya is the prasiddha mantra received from Adi Shankar. However, the mantra Shivaya Namah, or even the Shadakshari mantra Om Namah Shivaya, is not prasiddha. You need initiation.
Why is this written like this? Initiated by in brackets Adi Shankara.
You need to be initiated by Adi Shankar.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's see. Shiva Shadakshara Stotra. We did 5-syllable mantra for Shiva. Now we'll do 6-syllable mantra for Shiva, which requires initiation, right? Okay. Omkaram bindu samyuktam nityam dhyayanti yogina kamadam mokshadam chaiva omkaraya namo namah. Om Namah Shivaya is supposed to consist of Om Namah Shivaya, 6 syllables. Therefore, if this stotra follows that same rule, the first sound we should get is Om. Let's see. The next line should begin with Na. Namanti Rishayo Deva Namantya Apsara Samgana Nara Namanti Devesham Nakaraya Namo Nama. We got it. Namanti Na. So then it gets easy. How about Ma? Yes, it's there. So Om, Na, Ma. And even here, just to be sure, we got Ma Karaya and Na Karaya, Om Karaya. Continue to the next slide. To see if it's still the case. Yes, it says She is the first word. First sound. Va is the next one. Ya. Om Namah Shivaya is there. That was easy. It was right there, hidden in there. And in the end, this portion says Shadaksharam. Shadakshara means 6 syllables again. This Shadakshara Stotra, Patet Shiva Sanidao, which gives the influence or compassion of Shiva, also makes you go to Shiva Loka, and Shiva will be compassionate on you. Same results as the previous Panchakshari Mantra. The mantra we've derived is Om Namah Shivaya, and we did this simply from reading the first syllables in each of the lines. This requires Diksha, they say, right? Recite this stotra, you got Diksha of Om Namah Shivaya.
It's as simple as that.
So this stotra, yes. Okay? So, this is also a Prasiddha mantra as it is given in the Rudra Yamala, and recitation of the stotra is initiation. Rudra Yamala are some tantric texts which are called agamas, and they are said to predate some of the earliest writings that we have on, let's say, Puranas, things like that. Modern dating, not ancient dating. So the Rudra Yamalas have also some of this information. Lots of people who are into Shiva and Shakti Sadhana will study the Rudra Yamala. It's a huge book, Rudra Yamala. And there's some parts missing, they say. But there's still some people who know the whole thing by hand. So one can learn it from them.
This is for you, Maya.
The mantra will
This
follow.
is 25th, 26th in the past. Then
Now we will derive this mantra. Okay? It says here in the title 22 syllable marriage mantra. But hold on. It says here as the first line, Shri Krishnasya, which means that belonging to Shri Krishna. Dva, which means 2. Vimshati, you know Vimshamsha? Vimsha, that means 20. Dva Vimshataksharo Mantro. So herein is a 22 syllable mantra for Shri Krishna. So now we know that whatever we figure out from here should be 22 syllables. Okay? So what does it say? First Shaunaka, yes, there's always some mantra initiating. Maybe it's not there. Keep that in mind. It could be say Shri Ganeshaya Namah, maybe it's not there. It's not a requirement for stotra. Then Shaunaka asks, Kam mantram, which is that mantra? He's asking for a mantra. Okay? What is that mantra? To give to Balaka, the kids, the children, as they are preparing to become boys, to ensure that their intelligence is working. These children, data? No, it's children, all right. Who, these children who are seeking to go to Shri Hari is Krishna. Through this, to ensure their spiritual development towards Shri Hari or Krishna. That bhavan means that, what do we call bhava? Your bhava in worship means your attitude. Bhaktu marhati. Bhaktur marhati.
Speech.
No, vak is speech alone. I have to look it up. Let me look it up. I have diction. Yes. It relates to speaking Harma refers to something which has been spoken out or given out to the world. So it actually refers to what is that which is spoken to them. It can also refer to that which is given out. Harman means somebody who's yawning. That's a separate issue. Vaktu Harmati refers to that which has been spoken or given out to people. So Shaunaka, Rishi Shaunaka is asking, what is that mantra which is given to these young people? He's also implying by this, what the focus is that it should be something which helps them grow. It helps their intelligence grow. Right? And then Sauti actually begins speaking on this. Begins giving a mantra for this. Now, when you read this, you'll see that this is very mixed. It says Krishna in the beginning. It says something about children, Goloka, the blessings coming from there, to the Brahmanas who rest there. It says the mantra is 22 syllables here. It says right here, Vavimshatyaksharo mantro, Vedeshu, that which gives knowledge, and Su Durlabha. Su means good. Okay? That which is auspicious, gives good fortune, gives good blessings, gives good wealth particularly. Let's continue. Sauti goes on to describe it. You know, what it gives, which results it gives, how it's given to the Shisha. We still have no real description of this mantra and these lines that we've seen earlier. And then suddenly in the middle of this line, he gives the mantra. Om Shri Namo Bhagavate Rashamandaleshwaraya Shri Krishnaya Swaha Eti Cha Mantro Ayam Kalpa Padaya.
So on the first line is...
So the first line here, until Swaha Iti. Iti means ending. Ending with Swaha, that is the mantra that is referred to. Point is here, you will rarely find a stotra which gives such a clear exposition of a mantra, just giving it freely. Like here, take the mantra. You will rarely find that. And it's rarely available. Sometimes mantras and their variations are provided in the literature, like a signature at the beginning. Like all Puranas begin with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So it's rare to find mantras like this. Most of the time, we have to derive them. We have to. However, this mantra here, despite given so easily, is not prasiddha. Because earlier it was described that this is for brahmanas. It is for people who are supposed to grow in their intelligence as young kids and grow into brahmanas. So this is done by children who have to become intelligent. And at some point in time, as described very clearly here earlier, it is meant to make you a brahmana also. And another implication of this is also marriage. It is also marriage. Because if you're a brahmana, it means you're still in this world. And by being in this world, you are occupying the path of being a family member. You're not taking sannyas by being a brahmana. If a brahmana is not married, what brahmana are you? Okay? You're not a brahmana if you're not married, truly. You're not fulfilling your goal. If you're not married and you think you're a brahmana, hey, maybe you should think about taking sannyas because you're not doing any justice to your profession. You're not. Understand? So think about that. Somebody who properly fulfills one of these four castes that we confine professions into should be well established in society, because that profession should be well established in society. Otherwise, how is it really a profession which is part of society? And that implies family also. Because this mantra is not prasiddha, you must respect it a lot. You cannot just give it away. You must advise the people who to do this that they should start this mantra on a Thursday only, and it should be started at Brahma Muhurta and be recited every day at Brahma Muhurta. And you must be vegetarian to recite this mantra. What that means is for that entire day you cannot eat meat. When you say the mantra, that entire day you cannot eat.
How long should it be decided? 40 days or till you get married? No, it's a legitimate question.
yeah.
The mantra is for those whose minds must grow and become intelligent and become good brahmanas and become good husbands or wives. Right? After you get married, then this has done its job. Okay?
So the answer was number 2.
I'm not forcing anybody to do this mantra. But I need you to understand the context of how this mantra is given. Okay? There are mantras which are also given like this. Dvarasakshari Mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This 12 Akshara mantra is called the Ugra Madhusudana Stotra and has Krishna as the Devata. Actually, it's called Ugra Madhusudana Devata. And is derived from the starting syllables of each of the 12 slokas of the Madhusudana Stotra. So in that stotra it will say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, just like we had in the Shiva mantras we saw earlier. It's listed. You see 12 lines. Each of the beginning of those lines have these parts of the mantra. Because the word Ugra is used, can you tell me, you know a devata named Ugra, don't you? Who was that?
Many deities get this prefix Ugra.
Who?
Many deities do get
Many
this.
deities do. But I
It's
taught
for
you
the
one in
form.
this course. I didn't teach you Ugra was called Agni, no? Or Agni was called Ugra? No. Remember Atmalingas? One of them, one of the Atmalingas has specifically got the name Ugra. That's his only name, Ugra.
It's a form of Rudra.
Yes, but
It's a form of Shiva.
Yeah, Shiva.
Atmalinga form of Saturn.
Oh.
So whenever you see the word
Vayu.
Ugra listed anywhere, you should
Vayu.
think
Saturn.
Saturn. So Ugra Madhusudana is the Devata. It means it refers to sin and overcoming sin. This is a Prasiddha mantra, this Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hello. Happens.
Greg, is it on? Remember I told you earlier that this same mantra and mantras like this, you can change the bija, right? By adding the bija either in the beginning, right after Om, or in the end. Now, according to the Tattatreya Upanishad, each bija that you add in the beginning or end has a specific purpose. For example, Hrim was for moksha, right? And Klim, you already know, is supposed to be one of the highest ones. It reaches all the way up to the Sudamrita chakra. Now, if you have such a mantra, then of course by changing the bija, it's not prasiddha anymore, right? So how do you get diksha of it? Well, this is what you do. The one who gave this mantra was Parashara, but Vyasa is the one who uses it mainly in the Puranas, mainly. So what you do is first, you take Vyasa's name, first, and you should do this on a full moon, right? Full moon. Then, you should, on each of these full moons, of 21 of them, you must keep this in mind, it has to be full moon, and on 21 full moons, you have to be reciting the mantra just once in that reflection of that ghee. We call it Gritha Diksha. Purnama Gritha Diksha. So if you've changed this mantra in any way, you need to get the Diksha in some way.
But why 21? There's 12 aksharas in the original mantra. You don't add a whole 9 aksharas just by adding...
But the aksharas were almost only telling you how many times you could maybe do japa of it in temple, right?
Okay.
But the 21 has to do with siddhi. If you want siddhi of a mantra, the number 21 is important. Okay?
Festival, repetition. But how
No,
many?
21 full moons.
Okay, I'm good. Yeah.
But can you
21
recite it in the
full-
meantime?
One.
Yes, you're supposed to recite in the meantime. One mala at least.
Ah,
And then continue for 21 full moons till you get
Yes.
full diksha.
Then you get full diksha. Even if you think after those 21 full moons that you didn't get diksha, somebody will come and give you diksha.
Mm.
That's the beauty of this method. It guarantees that mantra you will get diksha. Okay?
But on clean or on the
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, you've already got automatic diksha. Automatic. It's when you add a bija. Because this first portion here, remember I said this first portion is Brahma? And he doesn't just accept things. So any bija added here, you need to get special diksha on. In the end, largely you could almost always just add any bija and you don't need diksha.
So what's the significance of adding at the end then?
See, when you add it at the end, there's a risk that you'll break the entire flow of the mantra. Okay? Because sometimes you'll find bijas like clean, Krishna clean, and you can't add a bija in the end. Or in the beginning, really, it's also difficult. Then you have to add two bijas. Hrim, clean, Krishna clean, Hrim. Okay? So like that, there are some difficulties associated with just adding bijas. And this relates to all mantras. I have never heard of anybody adding a bija in the middle. That's not possible. Only in the beginning, just after Om, or in the end, after the mantra. Okay. This mantra is very important for learning the Puranas. Now,
I liked it, Bonnie.
I did yesterday.
Did you do it by hand? Because
No,
one
I
of
did
the-
it also on paint yesterday.
Because Manu Guruji, the chart is a bit crooked on one side.
Yeah, I know. It's over here it's a bit off. And this is a bit longer.
But it looks very cute.
I had to illustrate it because I had it written in my notebook. I said, how do I show this? So, let's assume you have a mantra and you want to help somebody else. Let's say you have a bija for that matter, you have green bija, the person's stuck in some situation. Then, you can do a puja for others by taking first the picture of the person, place it next to the person's Ishta Devata. Okay? So what people will do is they have these booklets. You just open, on one side there's the person, the other side Ishta Devata. And you can travel with this also. Then they will put the person's chart here underneath, like that. If you take this very seriously, you should try and get this chart engraved somehow. Okay? Like in some copper plate or silver plate, just get the chart engraved, East Indian style. If you're very serious about this, you'll have your own chart like this also, in the future for pujas. Then you must offer flowers and a lamp. Alright?
Guruji, is there any way, let's say you want to pray for somebody, but you don't know their specific charts, for instance,
Yes.
and therefore not their Ishta Devata per se.
Well, you may not, but you could also ask who the person likes to worship.
Okay, but that may be different than what it actually is. So is it fail-safe? Say you ask the person, Ishta Devata might be Shiva, but they like to worship Devi or...
See, the person has likes or dislikes in life. And these likes and dislikes are very much intimately connected with their soul. So the person will always like their Ishtadevata. That's a guarantee. They will like their Ishtadevata.
But what about the Western people?
They will also like their Ishtadevata. If they have one. If they don't believe in God, there's a whole different problem with that. And we haven't even entered Navamsha. We're still in Rashi chart, looking at 9th house. Right?
On unknown charts, who is the Ishtadevata of the person for Western kind?
He asked that. He said, what if we don't have the chart? How do we find Ishtadevata? And I said, everybody always likes their Ishtadevata. God, Allah, Jesus, whoever, put it there. Ask the person, do you believe in God? Whom do you like?
What is the picture of the God?
take picture of, for example,
Internet.
Jesus.
In case of Allah, they will
Allah.
write the name.
Oh yes,
Okay.
There's
There's
no
no
picture.
picture.
They will
Yes,
write
yes,
the
yes,
name of
okay.
Allah. They will
Okay.
write the name. They won't write. They won't put a picture. There's a symbol also. Okay. There's a symbol. They will write the name. They will never draw. That's still fine. You can put it here. Okay.
So basically, there's a lot to do with our intention also. You can be off, but if the intention is right,
Yes. Largely, you won't go wrong here. You can ask the person, do you believe in God? Do you not believe in God? Then you have a problem if they don't believe in God.
Yeah.
Then you have to really be smart. You really have to be smart.
Well, then don't do it. I mean, however unfair it may sound, you're not.
Astrologers can figure it out even after they say that. If they don't have a chart, don't believe in God, okay. You see, Ishta Devata will have a very integral part of your own life and their life, sorry.
So
Yeah.
it's afflicted, or there's malefic, or whatever. The 12th from.
I'll leave you to think about this, okay? There are ways. Seeing how a person acts, seeing how a person behaves, which likes they have, which dislikes they have. Study a bit more, think a bit more about this, meditate on it. You will realize that that people follow their life's path based on the Ishta Devata. They do. Okay, they do.
So how we can do this? Offering flowers, take
You can keep a plate and put flowers in the plate. You put the lamp, as you know here, chart is there. After you have all these things, you start doing japa of the mantra. Which mantra? The one you're going to help the person come out of their problems. Let's say you want to do bija. The person is in jail. You'll meditate on Hreem, 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 Hreem for the person. Right? The person needs health problems. Om, Om. I mean, they don't need health problems. They want to get out of health problems. Om, Om, Om. You do that. Before you do this, check the person's chart if you can. If you don't have a chart for them, draw prashna. In the prashna, see first and fourth houses. To see if you're going to help them, will they really be sincere? Are they sincere in needing help? Will they do good karma after you help them with their problems? Otherwise, don't help them. I mean, I took the extreme example to illustrate. Person is in jail. They say they have reformed, they want to come out of jail. How do you know they're reformed? First and fourth house in prashna. Okay. Let's say they figure, oh, this master astrologer can take me out of jail. Email. They have email in jails nowadays. Email. Can you help me get out? I'm very sincere, reformed, Can you please help me? I don't know how to get out. Obviously, if you even give them a mantra or you do the mantra for them, you should be seeing if they're sincere or not. Seeing first or fourth houses in prashna.
head and heart.
So purity of heart, yes, that's right. Intention.
First and fourth.
They'll
Well, if it's there, you start wondering, maybe I shouldn't give. Maybe I shouldn't do the mantra. Okay? In the prashna. You wonder. You think for a second. Maybe you tell them, I'll do the mantra as soon as you've done this first. Then draw another prashna later.
So, but benefics or benefic aspects, you know that they're speaking the truth.
Yes. Yes. See the houses first, not benefic aspects.
Malefica, no.
If you
gift.
do this for a person, this puja, do not receive money from them. That's a pivotal thing. Also do not receive food or anything from them. Don't.
No.
Because if you do this, if you take something from them after this, you will partake in the karma of theirs.
Mm.
So we are not doing pujas for the people in trouble.
You can. Just don't accept money.
If you have time, and
So
stuff.
let's do charts for the rich people. With no problem.
Hey, you can do the pujas, yes. But if you are doing a puja, don't accept money for doing a puja. Let's say a person came for a consultation. You did the consultation, you did everything, and you gave them advice. Then later on, there's a discussion later on. Oh, I'm having this problem, that problem. I need someone to do puja for it. Don't accept money for that puja, is what's implied here. Maharishi Parashara has strongly advocated the use of the Bhagavata mantras for the Graha and Avatara. This we find in Vishnu Purana. Remember we did Vishnu Purana one of the first days? And we were discussing this Bhagavata mantra. The names of the avatar are added after the 7th syllable Om Namo Bhagavate and end always with Aya. So the names of the avatar can be placed here. For example, let's say we took Balabhadra. Om Namo Bhagavate Balabhadraya. Narasimha. Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya. So it follows the same sequence. These mantras cause the planets to feel exalted and they become beneficial and kind due to Sattva Guna. The Vedic names used for the planets are to be used with the mantra. If the planet is either Ishta Devata, Dharma Devata, that is, or Dharma Devata, then the address has to be as an avatar.
And it is still Prasida with no initiation.
It is Prasida. Palana Devata are also to be addressed with Bhagavata mantras, but in the female form with the word Bhagavatye. Okay? You just say Bhagavatye. Om Namo Bhagavatye Ekajate. Okay? Ekajate is Tara, yes. Similarly, for others, say Ratrikak and so on, which we study later, we'll use Bhagavate for male, Bhagavatye for female.
So it's basically the names with Aya at the end.
See? These are Graha mantras. Om Namo Bhagavate Adityaya. Right? Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Somaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Mangalaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Buddha Devaya. This is very, very close to another name. Buddha Devaya versus Buddha Devaya.
So that's for Graha, the other is for Avatar.
Yeah. This is for the Graha Buddha.
And what is for the Avatar Buddha?
We'll add another D, becomes Buddha. Buddha.
Yeah.
But for many people, you can
But I
also
think
say
we-
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Balabhadraya is more appropriate.
Balabhadraya.
Yes. Yes. You can Vasudeva, you can. If the person believes that Vasudeva is the Ishtadevata, Krishna is the Ishtadevata, then you can do that. Similarly, Om Namo Bhagavate Brihaspataye. Om Namo Bhagavate Shukracharaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Shanishcharaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Rahuve. Om Namo Bhagavate Ketave. These names are not limited by any name of Graha. So these names are not limited and any name of Graha can be chosen. Some astrologers base the name on the 108 names of the planets. Have you heard of this? 108 names of the planets? Ashtotara Nama. They are these stotras with 108 names of the planets. Based on which number it is, they'll see which nakshatra that Graha is in. And then they'll choose that name and place here. Just Om Namo Bhagavate and then the name. That's detailed, right? But it gives very good results. Because you're directly addressing which planet and which nakshatra it's in. Right? Because you have all these grahas here. They have 108 names each. You figure out which of the 108 nakshatra padas it's in, and then you have the name for the exact graha, exact nakshatra, exact name. So when Parashara, for example, in his text says, oh, for this graha and this dasha, you must use one of the 1,008 names. He is not saying recite all 1,008. He's saying choose one. How to choose? The astrologers know how to choose. For 108 names, nakshatra pada. 1,000 names, ooh, what do we do? To discuss that. Okay. Others simply use 12 names based on the sign it's in. Right? You know this. We gave a table, there was a table, like 12 names for the sun, based on sun sign. 12 names for the moon, moon sign. 12 names for Mars. That was your lesson. Moon was Gandharvas, sun was Adityas, Jupiter was Rishis, You can also do that. So now you're already ready to go out and give remedies. And what do you have to add before? Om Namo Bhagavate. And you have the rest. Wow. You're ready to give remedies to people based on this.
Usually this might be a silly question, but the Om Namo Bhagavate mantra in itself, that is on a kind of a all fix. But if we're going to go into like the specifics, then we add this. Is that misunderstood?
When you say overall thing,
No,
what
as
is
in
that overall going to do?
fix, like a fix, like to help them to get closer to the Ishadevata, if Krishna is the Ishadevata.
Yes.
Then you can use this. Whereas for other things we're going to deeper details with using the grahas and everything.
Of course. This is remedies for planetary problems.
But you could give it as a remedy, the mantra itself as a remedy to someone if they're not feeling like close enough to God and whatever.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya instills faith in the person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. So if you don't feel enough faith or close enough to
Exactly.
God,
Yes.
you can use it as a kind of a test. Give that to them and see if they'll do it. And if they're sincere, then they come back and you find the exact problem, and then add something and give it to them again.
Yes.
Have you done that?
Yes. Now, Graha Mantra. Bija Akshara added to the Bhagavata Mantra based on the Navakari Chakra and Tathatri Upanishad. I'll explain. Tathatri Upanishad says, at the end of the mantra, listen, he says, at the end of the mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Dattatrayaya. He says this mantra. At the end of that mantra, he will say, Bhava Bandha Mochanayati Hri Miti Vyaharat. Which means, at the end of the mantra, say Hrim. And if you do Hrim, you will get Bhava Bandha Mochanaya. Bhava Bandha Mochanaya means emancipation from bondage. So he's described the effects of some of these bijas. If you do Hrim, you get freedom from bondage. He said this. Tattatreya says this. Okay? Sakala Vibhutidaya Krom. Siddhis of all mantras will come from saying Krom. So he says, and Krom at the end of the mantra. So like that he has a whole list. So those of you who want to study Tattatreya Upanishad, I will help you and I'll tell you this list. Okay? It's an important part of learning the mantras. And the process of doing this, according to the Tattatreya Upanishad, is place them at the end. Why does he say place them at the end? Because you don't need initiation for that.
And I might be repeating, but it is still Prasida mantra
Yes.
open to anybody.
Yes, exactly. So you will give, let's say, a Graha Mantra, and you found out it's Nakshatra, you found this, you find that, and you want to be sure it will surely give effects. And you say, the person has financial problems. You will say, second house Navakari is home, get home, financial problems solved. That's simple.
Only hum, no, bija.
Why home? Home is the bija.
Oh, yeah.
Home, right?
Mm.
For second house and 12th house?
Yeah,
Home.
yeah,
It also gives family. Yes. Particularly, whatever you're adding after one of these mantras indicates the desire you have associated with the mantra. It's like offering the mantra to the devata and then adding the bija, saying, this is what I am looking for. Okay?
Yeah, it's free from that 6th and 8th.
If it's ream, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So you can choose based on what you want, which desire you want to have fulfilled. Okay? So we have some good techniques here. We can really give very nice specific mantras. We learned now you have a really important tool to go through Graha mantras, right? 108 names of this and that Graha. Add the specific one for the nakshatra or placement of the planet. Add a bija in the end to be sure everything is fine. Give the mantra. it will surely give results. Surely it will.
And it's far cheaper than gemstones and such other things.
Yes, the only thing about
Gemstones are
people-
good if you cannot be sure that the mantra will stay with them. Okay? In truth, gemstones should only really be needed for those people who cannot do mantras properly. Truly, I'll tell you honestly. In that village in Orissa where this knowledge was being was shared, they couldn't afford any gemstones. They didn't even see the slightest peak of a gemstone in some cases. They didn't have gemstones. They had mantras and they had colors, clothes. So they used colors and they used mantras. Tantra for them was food. Okay? So what gemstones? If people can afford, wear gemstones. Good.
For example, a person in a jail, can you
Yes.
recommend a food?
Yes. But
According
how
to
will they
it?
change their food? In jail, how will you change your food? It's impossible. They only serve specific food. I don't think they have a menu they can choose from.
Actually, you'd be surprised, but here they do.
Here they have a menu.
If you have a religious or a spiritual affiliation of some sort, then you are required by law to get that special food.
Yeah, but that's special food. Can they specify what the special food will be every day?
No.
For example, salt
А имаш и оно.
tea,
For moon, yes. Salted taste for moon, yes.
or
Yes.
tea, avoid
Може да
sweetie, for
бираш, зависи
example.
дали
Yes,
си
you
нещо.
can say. Yes, that you
Like
can.
this.
You can. Yes. At jail, they have big problems. They can't choose the colors of their clothes. They can barely choose their food and taste. They can barely.
Well, otherwise you could say they should have done mantra before getting into jail, then they wouldn't end up there.
But you can still talk to them and give them a mantra.
There's a Bollywood actor, Sanjay Dutt. When he went to jail, he was reciting mantras. He came out.
I think that example was given in one of the...
Really?
I think I was reading about a similar example. Maybe that was this person.
Color. How color?
You see color.
Color. Color. Yes. Actually, we do the sign. The sign itself. Then, having talked about the Graha mantras, we'll talk about the Avatar mantra. The Avatar mantra is specifically for planets to feel like they're exalted. Okay? So it will work in most cases, but you will find it very practical sometimes to give Graha mantras. You will. Shiva Pujita, Mahapurusha. I believe this is all for Ra. No. This is how to worship Shiva. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahapurushaya is the name of Shiva also. Why is he called Mahapurusha? Because the 5 heads he has symbolize each of the Mahapurusha yogas. So therefore he is worshipped as the Mahapurusha. Mahapurushaya. Now, Vyasa Pujita. Vyasa Pujita means Vyasa is giving this mantra. Shiva is giving this mantra. So, Vyasa says you should do Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is for the Paramatma. Bhadrasrava Pujita, for purity and Dharma. Om Namo Bhagavate Dharma Yatma Vishodhanaya Nama. So the mantras can become quite long. Oh, here's a nice mantra that I think you will like a lot. Om Namo Bhagavate Uttama Shlokaya. You learn all the proper slokas. You learn all the shastras. Learn everything. Having said that, we will get into the actual mantras for the various avatars based on grahas. Those former ones you can use. You should. These are specifically avatar mantras which I'll give now. We have Om Namo Bhagavate Maharajaya. Can you repeat that with me? Om Namo Bhagavate Maharajaya. That's for Rama. Another variation is Om Namo Bhagavate Ramachandraya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Ramachandraya.
A variation of this is Ramabhadraya.
Rama.
Ramabhadraya. Okay? That is just for the sun. These are good mantras. You can even ask the person which mantra they like. Now, for the moon, Krishna, Om Namo Bhagavate Jagannathaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Jagannathaya.
Or, as you know very well, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Mars indicates Narasimha. And there we have two options. We can do Narasimhaya or Shri Nrasimhaya. The latter is a bit more difficult. We'll do the first one. Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya. Let's try the variation. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Nrasimhaya. Yes, good.
What is the difference between these two?
The aksharas change, so it's not 12 syllables anymore. If I use just Narasimhaya, which is actually his real name. His real name is Narasimhaya. It's not Narasimhaya, Narasimhaya. We add Shri just to ensure that these syllables stay the same. Herein, this mantra for Narasimha is very important for astrologers. Worshipping Mars, Narasimha is very important. And it is advised to offer sugar for Narasimha and sit in and worship him in the eastern direction. After you've recited the mantra, eat the sugar. That's sweet.
Sweet, sweet.
Preferably brown sugar, jaggery at best. Okay?
What's that? What's that?
Jaggery? Palm sugar, no?
Yeah, palm sugar. Yes.
Palm sugar?
The other mantra?
You can get it
Shri
in most Indian
Narasimhaya.
shops.
Shri?
Except in
No,
your
no,
It's not written here.
Isn't it?
Nri?
Narasimhaya.
There is sugar cane.
no sugar cane. Palm sugar.
Oh, palm sugar. I think there is.
Gur.
Can you make just 1 second? Okay.
Why is that this mark so important to to Jyotish?
Actually, one of the biggest problems with Mars is that it causes Jupiter to fail. Okay? It causes Jupiter to stop functioning properly in the chart. So therefore, we do mantras for Mars to protect Jupiter. By doing so, we're ensuring that Jupiter, the brain, will always function properly. Okay? So, Narasimha mantras, Bagalamukhi mantras, Chandika mantras, the Rudra mantras, Hanuman mantras, they're the best for learning astrology. Best. Because it ensures that Mars does not take Jupiter for a spin and it suddenly disappears.
But it is
More
also
than often you will find, if Mars is in 1st house or 10th house, or even 5th house, wherever Jupiter is placed, that house is suffering. To ensure it doesn't happen, we give mantras for Mars, to ensure that he doesn't go so far as making Jupiter leave the chart. He can. Mars is the only one who can do this to Jupiter.
it is noticeable among us, and everybody has some issue with Mars, either Lord or well placed or bad. It is very prominent, I mean, within us here in our church.
Good astrologers will have Mars very prominent. Okay? Good astrologers will have Mars very prominent. I mean, Ruchaka Mahapurusha Yoga, one of the results are given as the person will have knowledge of Jyotish. He doesn't say that for any of the other Mahapurushas, just Mars, Ruchaka.
But it does come with a price.
Preferably, that Mars has learnt the Shiva Tattva. That means has understood the Shiva, the essence of Shiva. Because when he does that, he'll protect Jupiter. Otherwise, normal Mars, he'll just run haywire. Take Jupiter for a good spin and Jupiter disappears from the chart. Mark this in a chart. Whichever planets are in 1st, 10th or 5th can make another planet in the chart simply leave. The ground will leave.
But only in case of malefic, right? Malefics won't do it. Oh, smiling question, which means.
Why does Mars make Jupiter leave? Weekday order, Vara Chakra. In the Vara Chakra, The 8th planet from Jupiter is Mars. The 8th planet is like Rahu. It causes an eclipse.
So 8 from anyone in the Vana chakra can make that on the
Causes the other one to be eclipsed. That's why there's this yoga given in some book, some red book. It says that if Rahu is in 1st house or 10th house, wherever Sun is placed in the chart, that is the problem in the chart. That is the problem house in the chart. That alone. Simple yoga. Rahu in 1st or 10th house. I add 5th because I've seen that. But only 5th if it's the strongest house. If there's nothing in 1st or 10th, see 5th. If there's planet in 10th, that'll be the one.
Rahu 5th and
Wherever, if you have Rahu in 1st or 10th, wherever Sun is placed, that's the problem. Ketu in 1st, 10th, that's wherever Moon is placed is the problem. Very straightforward analysis, right?
So that's when you look at somebody's chart, you see that, you will say, boom, done.
That's right.
You gotta look at these things.
Because the person is acting in a way which is causing an eclipse on that other graha.
So actually having grahas in 1st, 5th and 10th is not
Hey, these are the houses of the king. Some people will not be able, will be in the shadow because of that king. Okay.
then even the great benefic, even Guru will do it.
Yes, Jupiter can. Who does he eclipse?
8 from,
No, not 8 from him.
I mean the 8 in the weekday order.
Yes, Jupiter's in the 8th in weekday order from who?
1 to 4. Mercury.
You sure?
No.
No, still, I'm right. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. That'd be Jupiter, sir.
Hmm?
So I can. 1, 2, 3, 4.
How can he eclipse himself?
Himself?
No, he cannot. It's not possible. You made a mistake.
Which graph?
Make sure you count the nodes with in this scheme, right?
Ah, okay.
Okay.
that is why Ketu is
6. It's Mars then again.
Bal
Ah,
in
Mars
4th.
is going to go in.
Are you sure?
I'm sure, yeah.
It's Saturn.
I don't think you're
Saturn.
6.
Correct, it is Saturn. Count 8 from Saturn.
Wasn't
You'll
it?
get Jupiter. Saturn, Rahu. I'll do it with my fingers, not my joints. Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, Sun, Moon, Mars,
Maybe
Mercury, Jupiter. Jupiter. So it's right, 8, Jupiter. Jupiter eclipses Saturn. Mars eclipses Jupiter. That was the mistake you made. So Jupiter eclipses Saturn, okay? So, if Jupiter is anywhere placed in the chart, Saturn is gone. Happy days.
Nice.
1st, 10th or 5th. So therefore there's this yoga which is given in some scripture. It says that if Jupiter is in 4th house in exaltation, you will have huge property, beautiful property. But if Mars is in 5th house, you will leave that property.
If Mars is in the same
5th.
house. 5th. Next.
Second.
Because Mars will ignore Jupiter. So this shows what you ignore.
Don't give.
That is why Mars worship is important for astrologers. We ensure this way that Jupiter stays in our charts. Okay.
Wasn't it also somewhere said that the same situation like if Ketu is in Lagna in the 1st, it makes the sun exalted whenever it is, and it might also have something to do with this Jyotish thing. It will not give probably power, but it will give this sun spirituality in a way.
Yes, when you learn the other parts of our chakra, you know that one graha has impact on all the other grahas, all the other 8. So we just learned one now, eclipse. Okay.
Moon Ketu.
Okay. Now, here's another mantra. Well, it's a bit long, isn't it? Om Namo Bhagavate Rishi Rishabhaya Nara Narayanaya Paramhamsa Paramagurave Atmarama Dipataye Namo Nama. How do you do that every day? Somebody can do this. In fact, Narada used to do this, Narada Muni. He did this mantra. But from this we can derive some other mantras. So now you're learning that from one longer mantra you can derive shorter mantras. From this we can derive Om Namo Bhagavate Rishi Rishabhaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Rishyaya.
Instead of this Rishabhaya, you can have the name of a rishi. Okay? Rishiyatraya.
So you're going to have to work with jaimini.
Yes, you can. Om Namo Bhagavate Rishi Jaimini or Jaiminye. Okay? We can derive therefore Om Namo Bhagavate Nara Narayanaya or Om Namo Bhagavate Paramahamsa Paramagurave. Paramahamsa Paramagurave means that which is the resting place for any soul. Okay? You can even worship your own guru based on this. Like if you know the name of your guru, you can say Om Namo Bhagavate and the name after that. If you want to get moksha, Om Hrim Namo Bhagavate, the guru's name. Okay? So how will you refer to your own guru? Om Hrim Namo Bhagavate Ravi Shankaraya. Isn't it? Ravi Shankaraya. And the guru will give you moksha. Okay. Now, we're getting specifically into Jupiter. This is in the order of gunas. We had first sun and moon, then we added some things, now we're getting into Jupiter. So, for Jupiter, Om Namo Bhagavate Vamanaya. Or, Om Namo Bhagavate Dadi Vamanaya. This is a preferred form, Dadi Vamanaya. And this is also from the Puranas. Dadi Vamanaya. What does Dadi mean? Sandeep? Dadi. Dai.
Dahi, yogurt.
Yogurt, curd, yes. So you're worshipping Vamana as being the one who is sitting in the ocean of yogurt or curd. Okay? It's a very nice form, isn't it? Very sweet looking. Dadhi Vamanaya. A form that most of us know him as is Trivikramaya. The one who conquered all three worlds. But this form is a bit aggressive because he's in that, when he's doing this, he's actually conquering the three worlds. So we like Dadi Vamanaya. It's nice. Nice, sweet form.
And they'll give the same effect.
They'll give a nicer effect. Trivikramaya, you risk going around and trying to knock people over the head. Okay? To do something which you think is proper and dharmic. Dadi Vamanaya. Nice mantra. Just listen to that. Dadhi Vamanaya. So sweet. Okay? So sweet. Sweet words. For Mercury. Shri Buddha. Now, the word Buddha Deva, is given by Parashara. So we can do Om Namo Bhagavate Buddha Devaya. However, in the tradition, we do not worship Buddha because of some dilemma that we have with Buddha Avatar, with what he did. According to this, he was supposed to distract everybody to ensure that the Brahmanas who were doing their pujas were left alone. And according to some people, he created Buddhism, but I'm not sure it's the same Buddha Deva. I don't think it's the same. Now, to avoid that confusion about this and this dilemma, we worship Balaram in the tradition, and this mantra you've already been given. Om Namo Bhagavate Balabhadraya. So we come to Venus.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Ketu here. Is
Ketu,
it
yes.
Matsya Devata for Ketu?
Balaram, yes. Balaram is supposed to be a form of Sheshanaga.
Okay.
Therefore, he can occupy both the form of Ketu and Mercury. Both of them. He's interchangeable. Also, people have Sarpa doshas and whatnot. We advise Balabhadra mantra or Balaram mantra. Okay. For Venus, there is only one that we like, Rishikesha. Don't start Parashuramaya. Don't give it to anybody. When he took that name, he spent all his time killing a bunch of people. Okay? For some people that may be necessary at some point in life, but please advise Rishikeshaya. It's a peaceful name. You want people to have peace. And therefore this variation is given here, Parashuramaya. It literally means Rama who's having the axe. Parashu, axe, Rama. His actual name is Rama. But we only coined the name as Parashurama because we have another Rama to also compare with.
He's half avatar, right? He's like half avatar. He's not Purna avatar, Parashurama.
Yeah, he's not Purna. It doesn't mean he's half.
I mean, translation of the word is a bit difficult.
Om Namo Bhagavate Akuparaya is for Shri Kurma avatar, the avatar of Saturn. Another form is Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Kurmaya. And one form which is not listed here is Mahakurmaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahakurmaya. There is a form of this mantra which only is given in Diksha, where they give the mantra Kurma Rupaya. Kurma Rupaya. Good to note, just so you know, but they will give that sometimes. Some of you will already be very well acquainted with the mantra for Matsya Avatar, the avatar of Ketu. Maha Matsyaya is the name we use. Okay? Om Namo Bhagavate Maha Matsyaya. Yes. I cannot recall any others like this, but for Rahu, in the form of Varaha Avatar, you already know the name Venkateshaya.
You did say it there.
Yes, and there's a name which Parashara likes a lot. He calls him Sukara. So he will use the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Sukaraya. In this, what is not written here is that we can add Bur in the front. There's a bija which is given in the Purana, Bur. So we add Om Bur Namo Bhagavate Sukaraya or Om Bur Namo Bhagavate Shri Sukaraya. If you add the word Bur in the front, it's supposed to lift you from the worst bondage of Rahu. The worst problems of Rahu, it can lift you out of. Of course, there's Varahaya in the end, which is very common. Having spoken of the Varaha avatar, we start getting into some means of using bijas because of the Bur mantra or the Bur bija. Herein you must understand that certain bijas do require initiation. Like you got Navakari initiation, the other bijas require also initiation. The Krishna bija, the Jagan Mohana or Jagannatha bija is clean, as you know. For Rama it is Shrim and Hari it is Hrim. So we can actually allot these bijas to the avatars also or forms of Vishnu at the same time. For Narasimha it is Kshraum and for Varaha it is Bhur or Bhu. Bija can be used with any mantra provided one is initiated with it. Here's an illustration. Om Bhur Namo Bhagavate Varahaya you have heard. That's one variation. Now, you can add Om Klim Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So that's another one. You've seen this earlier also today. Now we go to the next. Let us say, in a person's chart, in this case of Saturn Atmakaraka, the Dharma Devata is having Rahu and Mars. And you want to worship Varaha and you want to worship Narasimha. And you just learned earlier that Kshraum is the Narasimha bija. Rahu is exalted over there, so it should be Varaha avatar mainly. It's stronger than Mars. So you need to find some joint form. Rahu and Mars. Okay? So we can do the following. If you can get the exact name of the joint form, it is fine. Otherwise, follow these rules. Determine the stronger between the planets involved. So among Rahu and Mars it was? Rahu.
Oh.
Use the Bhagavad mantra for the Devata. So Om Namo Bhagavate. Add the bija of the avatar that are conjoined. That means it was Rahu which was stronger, so Mars is conjoined. So we need the bija of Mars. And it has to be avatar bija because we're worshipping one as avatar, we need the other also to be avatar. In the illustration, Rahu is exalted in Taurus. Primary form is Shri Varaha or Venkatesha. Mars conjoins Rahu, showing the Narasimha bija to be added. Mars is Narasimha. Mars' bija is Kshraum, so we can do Om Kshraum Bhur Namo Bhagavate Varahaya. Alternatively, we can exchange Varahaya with Venkateshaya. So you can have conjoined forms like this and add the bijas accordingly. Based on this, we can keep adding bijas and forms actually, as long as we find the primary form. When to advise these avatar mantras? If the planets are exalted. Implication of exalted, if they debilitate and get Nichabanga also. If they're aspected by Jupiter. Because Jupiter lords the natural 9th and 12th houses, which are the houses where we see Vishnu from. So all planets associated with Jupiter can be avatars. If the planet does not meet this criteria, then we have to use Graha mantras. Like for the sun, Aditya. For moon, we can use Soma Devaya. Earlier you also saw some mantras. Mars, Dharaputraya. For having children, particularly. Angarakaya or Bhumi Putraya. Continuing on this, Mercury can be Buddha Devaya, not Buddha. Buddha Devaya. Brihaspataye for Jupiter. We have some names here. There are quite a few names for Jupiter. Deva Gurave, repeat after me. Deva Gurave.
Deva Gurave.
Vachaspataye.
Vachaspataye.
Sura Gurave.
Sura Gurave.
Tara Pataye.
Tara Pataye.
It should be long A. Tara Pataye. Because Tara is his wife. He's the pati of Tara. So he's the husband of Tara. Satya Kritave.
Satya Kritave.
Parama Gurave.
Parama Gurave.
Paramahamsaya.
Paramahamsaya.
As you know, particularly for Lagna. So you have Jupiter and Lagna, you do Paramahamsaya. For Venus, repeat after me. Shukracharyaya.
Shukracharyaya.
Shri Bhagavaya.
Shri Bhagavaya.
It can also be, I think actually it should be Bhargavaya. There's an R missing there. To correct. Brigu Sutaya.
Brigu Sutaya.
The last one, as you see here, will make him behave as a Brahmana. Particularly, he is referred to in this form because he's the son of Brigu. Suta means the child of Brigu. Rishi Brigu. Child of Brigu. Saturn is Shanaishcharaya. It says Shanishcharaya, that should be Shaneshcharaya. Surya Putraya.
Surya Putraya.
Now for Rahu, Mahasarpaya. You can do this mantra, it's alright. You can do it. You can. It's perfectly fine. It's alright, don't worry. You think you're doing sarpa, 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 they will not come closer to you, they'll leave you alone. Mahasarpaya. Mahatamase.
Mahatamase.
The one who gives knowledge of the shunya. Ha. Maha refers to beyond Bhur, Bhuva and Swa. Obviously, Mahaloka is beyond those three lokas. Ketu, Mahaganaya. No, sorry, Mahanagaya.
Mahanagaya.
And Mahakayaya.
Mahakaya.
The Nagas have a great body. Kaya is the body. Mahakaya, huge body, which goes beyond the lokas. Having done all those mantras, and also...
May I ask, you said it's only for exalted planets? Those, no, avatar names are only used for exalted planets and the planets getting Nitra Banga. The
all
planet,
planets associated with Jupiter.
yes, and getting Nitra Banga, that means that they are actually in Nitra Banga state. they're most beneficial.
They are rising to that stage. They'll behave like they're exalted.
Okay, so it's not like, well, it must be debilitated, which are not, no, we cannot use that for the avatars, no? Only,
If they're only debilitated,
Mhm.
then we have a problem. Then we can't use avatar. Then you get Nichabanga. I'll soon teach you some Mahavidya mantras for them.
Okay.
Then we'll discuss this again. This slide I promise I'll give you. There's so many mantras, I'm sure you couldn't write them all. I'll give you this one.
Maybe,
Andrew,
no, maybe not.
come on.
Come on, so many man, I can't.
I mean, now think about it.
Oh,
Okay, anyway. Herein, remember earlier we were trying to derive mantras? Vivekananda wrote this stotra. He wrote this stotra. And we see in the stotra that he starts the stotra with Om Hrim, then he says Ritam Tamachalo Gunajit Gunedyo. And we see a certain rhythm or something unfolding here, in which if we derive it, we get Om Hrim Namo. Then we see Bhagava. Right? We can even take this ta over here. Seems to match. Let's continue. Oh, the ta is over here. All right, it's there. Rama. Then it says Krishna. Yeah. As a result of which, Vivekananda, you see, he never taught anybody his mantra. He never did. He never told anybody that that was his mantra. But in this stotra, he's hidden it. Why was it necessary to do that? So that those who were taught this stotra in the tradition were able to preserve the mantra. This is one of the mantras which is given for initiation to those who are coming to Ramakrishna mission. They will get normally Om Namo Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya. Sometimes they have a bija in front, sometimes no bija. They'll get this mantra. Some don't, some get Gayatri mantra, some get other mantras, but they'll get this mantra. Usually, normally. So, these stotras are made to preserve something. Actually, the mantra is hidden, but in the tradition they'll have this text. Here's the book, here's the text, read it, understand this. When you've understood this, then you can go and get Diksha. And give Diksha, sorry. The teachers will get this stotra and say, here is the mantra, it's hidden in here. And then it's preserved. It's not written like, oh, here's a small piece of paper, here's the mantra, now no look. No, they can give this stotra to everybody. They can recite it all the time. And it's still hiding the mantra. And those who know how to derive it can keep the mantra for later. So, all these stotras, why did they hide the mantras? Because they didn't want to hide the books. By hiding the books, you'll finally find the mantras will disappear. The books will disappear themselves, forget the mantras. So the stotras are given openly, and from the stotras, those who know how to derive them, they derive them because they were taught how to derive them, and then the tradition continues like that. This was his mantra, as you know, and this is his chant. With that said, let's have lunch. Thank you for listening.